Hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you this evening with a very special live examination. Today, Robert and myself are looking at the Evil Twin Big Ass Money Stout, which clocks in at 17.2% alcohol by volume. This can that I have is courtesy of Robert the Whiskey Scout because I cannot get anything over 14% in my area. So thank you very much, Robert.
You're welcome.
I've already done a solo review. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to breaking this down with you guys and hanging out for a little bit. And I did say that Robert and I were drinking the Big Ass Money Stout. Technically, this is an Evil Twin examination. We're not all drinking the Big Ass Money Stout, although Michael Krumroff has had the Big Ass Money Stout, and he gave it very high ratings. But what Michael, I'll let Michael talk a little bit about what he's drinking tonight.
This is called Don't You Know Stout, and it's an Evil Twin collaboration with Great South Bay Brewery in Bayshore, New York, which is in Suffolk County, probably about 40 miles from here, from where I live in Brooklyn. Evil Twin collaborated with them, and it's 14% alcohol by volume.
Right, which is just at the limit.
And it's a John's limit. He said he's seen it in Atlanta. He can pick it up.
I have seen it in Atlanta at the Total Wine and More, so I can actually get that beer.
I've never tried this one, so it's my first time. I'm going to crack it.
All right. So we will go ahead and, let's give them a pour, everybody.
It looks like action. It has that.
Looks like action? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it has that Evil Twin, even more Jesus look.
Nice. Yeah. And here's the Big Ass Money Stout. Which, as you can see, it's got a very thick beige head, jet black appearance. Michael, yours doesn't look too far off from ours, although I will say that your head looks a little bit lighter.
I think your head is, and your head looks even thicker.
This is a full-on beige head. Yeah, super creamy. I mean, 17.2% alcohol, people.
Definitely.
You just don't get that kind of stuff every day.
Nope, that's for sure.
No, not with the beer.
I mean, and Robert, you said even though you bought another 4-pack, you said that was the last one on the shelf. Like it's not.
Yeah, the last one. I asked if he had any more, and he said he did. He told me that was the last 4-pack he had, but I've asked him before on one other one, and I went in there about 2 weeks later, and it was on the shelf again, and I was like. So I sometimes they got so much beer, I really don't know if they know exactly what they got, how much. So next time I go in, I'll definitely pay attention.
Right. Okay, so I'll tell you, this is how I think we should probably do this. Michael, give us just a quick recollection of what you remember from the Big Ass Money Stout.
Well, I did not get the extent of the pizza taste that Robert got, but I did get some pizza in mine. I just didn't get it to that extent, but I loved it. And I thought it really covered the alcohol well. In other words, that did not taste like a 17% beer. So it's thick enough and it has the alcohol in it. You can't totally hide it, but to me, it tastes like a 10%er. You know, it really covered the alcohol really well.
It tasted less than that to me. I thought
it was an astounding beer.
Yeah, it's like a 4 or 5%. It's like a regular everyday lager to me. It's how it drinks. It doesn't have any more potency to my tongue. As far as the alcohol perception. It's just really is.
And
amazing.
That means a lot coming from a whiskey guy like yourself because you're used to drinking a lot of high alcohol stuff, the bourbons and the any whiskey really or liquor.
And to my knowledge,
that's quite the statement. Yeah,
very little of the Evil Twin stuff is actually barrel aged. That was true. Was the Grand Cru or the Cuvée?
The Grand Cru and the Cuvée were both barrel aged. The Grand Cru is one of my favorite beers of all time. I actually like that one better than the Cuvée because they aged the Cuvée in wine barrels. I was getting some funky stuff with that I wasn't really prepared for. But yeah, the Grand Cru and the Cuvée are both aged in barrels other than that, I can't
I
think.
don't think they are, but some of them taste like they are. Somehow they're able to get that effect on the beer. I don't know how they do it, but somehow.
Right. Well, a lot of it, I think, yeah, the alcohol and you can age a beer, or it takes a while to make a beer without actually having to barrel age it. So you get a lot of stuff from that as well. And Robert, what were you holding up to the?
It turns that white paper towel, 'cause when I clicked open the can, it spewed and spilled just lots of drops all over my computer, and that cleaned it up. And it really does stain it all, just that chocolate brown.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely going to stain your inside a little bit.
nice.
I didn't.
Oh yeah, well, in a good way. And this smells. The aroma on this, it does smell barrel aged, but I'll get into that in a minute. Robert and I think what we'll do, since Michael, this is his first time having this beer, and Robert and I have already had. Robert did the Big Ass Money Stout on Stout Sunday, and then I did a solo review, so we're kind of collaborating and talking about it a little bit more in depth. But Michael has not had the Don't You Know Stout yet, so I'm going to let you lead off, Michael.
Okay, I didn't mention before, I got this at the food co-op, and I got it for $3.88, which I consider a good price for a 14% beer. Their Evil Twins prices vary. The Grand Cru and the Cuvée were in the $6 range, so those were more expensive. But I don't remember what the Big Ass Money Stout was. My daughter bought it actually, and that was more money than these other ones. So I don't remember exactly how much that was. I think that was like almost $8 for a can. But let me give you a review of what I'm getting from this. You can see the color is dark brown. You cannot see through it. It is fairly opaque. Let me look through the light. Maybe you get some little, like red highlights through the very top of the head, but through the center of it, it's all very dark brown, almost black. Let me give it a nose. Wow, this is fairly amazing. You're getting all the roasted malt, and it has an intense smell. Let me taste it.
Now, does that one have any additives like vanilla, lactose? We didn't.
It doesn't say anything on the can, so I don't know. Do you have the accessibility to look at Evil Twins website to see if they list it? Since it's a collaboration, sometimes it's hard to find it.
Right. I can.
It is distributed by 12% out of Brooklyn, New York, as most of I think all the Evil Twins are. The taste of this is really good. Like all the other ones, it does not taste like 14%. The alcohol is masked. You're getting some coffee, dark chocolate. Let's see what else. I mean, the drinkability is like off the charts. It's hard to believe they can do this kind of stuff. I mean, this is 14%, and it's hard to believe.
One thing I'll say is I did look it up, and I couldn't find anything to confirm whether or not it doesn't look like there are any additives. Evil Twin does a great job. We talked about this earlier with just the basic ingredients and brewing the beer. Yes, they have a lot of high alcohol stuff, but like the beers that we're drinking, they're not barrel aged. So the complexity, the alcohol, I mean, everything about the brewing process and the final product has nothing to do with bourbon barrel aging anything. I mean, it's a straight up beer. There's no additives of flavor. I mean, the Big Ass Money Stout, yeah, okay, the frozen pizza thing, okay. But, I mean, it's more of a gimmick, I think, than anything. But, Michael, yours has nothing. I mean, it's a straight stout, according to what I just looked up, which is pretty impressive that you can get that kind of complexity, that kind of quality with just a standard beer like that.
And it just shows you that we can get a brewer, and again, these both Evil Twin and Mikkeller, which are the two brothers, the Evil Twins, and the Mikkeller now is in the United States. They have a brewery in San Diego, and they're also in what used to be Shea Stadium, now it's Citi Field, where they have in New York City a small operation. Anyway, they're from Denmark, and now they're big in the United States, and it's like this guy Jeppy Jeppy's his first name. I don't know his last name, who is the evil twin. I mean, he's started an amazing brewery. I mean, it's astounding.
Yeah.
Where was that one brewed at, Michael?
This one, let's see if it'll tell you where it's brewed. I assume, okay. They don't tell you, so it's hard to tell. Oh, this was brewed at Great South Brewery, the collaboration place.
Okay.
In Bay Shore. But most of their stuff now, until Ridgewood opens, is still brewed in Two Roads, or some of it in Westbrook in South Carolina.
That's where this one's coming. Yeah.
I found one that was brewed in Spain, the one you on Stout Sunday.
That was
right.
rather interesting.
Masa Jesus, which is even more Jesus in Spanish, which is really incredible because it's the same recipe, apparently, same ABV and everything, same label, but it's in Spanish versus English. But the interesting thing about that, and I don't know if Michael knew about this or not. I know I definitely did not know about this, but I did not realize that Evil Twin had any beers that were brewed in Spain. I mean, I thought that was.
I did not know. I know
crazy.
that Tickler still does brew some stuff in Denmark as well as in the United States.
But I mean, Spain, that's like out of the blue. I was not expecting
a big brewing nation for any reason. It's more known for wine than it is for.
Threw that bottle away. I just looked over there at my trash bag, but trash ran yesterday.
You should save that bottle.
I should have saved it.
People that ever
I can buy more. He had a couple of more. Next time I go through Salina, I can stop and pick up another one. That's no big deal. I don't think he's going to sell out of it. Most people's not going to pay $6.99 for a single beer. Kansas, especially Salina, Kansas. Salina's
right.
I mean, it's big enough. There is a beer drinking community, but I'm going to bet you he's had that on that shelf in there for every bit of a year or two. I almost guarantee it. It's in the fridge. It's part. So.
Right.
I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not. I don't know everything, but I'm just kind of throwing out a guess there.
Well, I talked to Alex, the beer master, earlier, and he let me know that you do know everything. So we're gonna go with that.
What did he say?
You know everything about whiskey and alcohol in general, according to Alex, the beer master. So.
He thinks highly of me.
John, I'll go on a little bit about this too. As it's warmed a little bit, and this is kind of not strange, but maybe normal for Evil Twin. And it's not warm yet; the beer is still cold. But as it's warming, it's getting more intense. And isn't that interesting that the flavors would start to pick up as it warms a little bit?
What about the alcohol? Is it becoming more boozy, or is it just the flavor?
It's not boozy at all. But what you're getting, I'm getting like the chocolate and the coffee are more intense than they were when I sipped it cold. It's still cold, but it's, as it's going, I can tell the difference. I mean, we've been doing this for 10 minutes. It's not that long, but.
Okay.
And I'm saying.
We will definitely come back around and we'll hear a little bit more about how that beer is as it's warming and all of that. Robert and I are drinking the Big Ass Money Stout, 17.2%. Before we go on to that, I'm going to let you go first, Robert. Let's go to the chat really quick. We've got Craig Swenson. He says, looking forward to the Plank Road Brewery Red Dog Session Stout with Imperial Trans hops. You know what, Craig? When that comes out, you send me the link to that, and I will travel across the country to buy that if it exists. Trans hops. All right. So Tyler is also in the chat. He says, wow, cheers from Urban Family Brewing Company. He will watch when he gets home. So Tyler is at a great local brewery out there in Seattle. Cheers to you, Tyler. Hope you have a good night and enjoy those beers. We've got Harry over there at Blue Nose Beer Reviews over in the UK. Says, had this last year, dangerously easy drinking. I'm going to assume you're talking about the Big Ass Money Stout, which absolutely is incredible. If you're talking about Michael's beer, though, it sounds like it's pretty much the same type of thing, although not quite as strong. 14% is nothing to mess around with, and it sounds like a winner. Evil Twin has been very good with their beers over the years. I have not had an Evil Twin beer that I have not really been pleased with so far. Freshness dates are important, and we might talk about that a little bit later. This one actually has a date on it, but some of the Evil Twin stuff I've had, they don't bother putting dates on. I don't know why, but I've run across that. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. John Womack is in the chat, says cheers. Cheers to you, John. Ronald Sutton, he says, I'm back. Give me a link. Have something special. Oh, okay. I will try to send that out to you, Ronald. All right. And Ronnie S., last but not least, Ronnie S. says, big ass money stout sounds like a winner. Yes, Ronnie. Unfortunately, you live in Florida. I don't think you can get it in Florida. But that being said, we will go to Robert the Whiskey Scout. You had this on Stout Sunday. You sent me one. I greatly appreciate it. Or you sent me two. This is the second one. I'm enjoying it. You've enjoyed it. So let's hear a little bit more about that Big Ass Money Stout. What are your thoughts on that beer? How you?
Well, this is my third one. This is my last one. Because I had the one I bought by itself, and then they didn't have no more singles, and they only had the 4-pack left, which I sent you two of. So this is my last of my two. When I first cracked it, chocolate hits the nose. That's the first perception I get, dark chocolate. It stays, it's a very rich, and I mean, think of a rich candy or a rich pie or a rich cake that, and you'll understand what I'm trying to convey. It's very dense on the palate for a beer. It really is. But that chocolate on the nose, and this one, because of our shortness of time, I didn't know we were doing it. It only spent 2 hours in the fridge, so it's not super cold by any means. But it's got a wonderful dark bread smell, and that chocolate, and you get, of course, the dark roasted malts there. And there's almost like a molasses sweetness somewhere tucked into this. Just a thick sweetness like a molasses. Not super sweet, slightly bitter, but it adds to that richness to it. And I think that's a combination of the sweetness working with the hops in it. Anyway, that's the nose. Palate, I've already had a few drinks of it. Again, chocolate. Again, with the red, the palate and nose follow each other very well with this. I don't get no coffee notes. I don't remember if I got any the first time, but this time around, I don't really get any coffee notes. If I did, but there's that sweet. When they make pizza crust, you know, we make it at home, and you got to let that dough rise for 12 hours or whatever. When you make a homemade dough, you roll it up and you roll it up and you beat the hell out of it. But you use a special yeast that they give you. I don't remember what it's called. I'd have to ask my wife. But that yeast adds a more sweetness to pizza dough, that little bit of sweetness you get. And I think that's why I noticed the pizza dough sweetness on this, the pizza crust sweetness. I think that's why I get that with this. I've thought about it long and hard because I don't get no pepperonis or no tomato or cheese or any of that other stuff. But I do get that pizza crust. It's not. And at first, like when we first tried it, I said, this might be psychosomatic because I'm seeing pizza on the damn can. So I don't know, but I still get it. It's the last beer I noticed it, and I'm still noticing it with this beer. Now, my palate's obviously different than yours, John, and different than yours, Michael. We all tend to get a little different. And that's a good thing because what we all get that are the same, we know everybody's going to get that. The little outliers is what's going to be the slightly different things. And whoever tries it, they try this, and they say, well, I'm actually getting the more pizza crust effect or the more whatever John gets effect. They know that your palate is more in tune with theirs than mine is. Or right. Person with Michael. So, I mean, that's why these things are good to do with multiple people, because it gives you the same beer. It gives you slightly multiple views, and it allows the viewer to actually look at what you're getting and have something to compare his palate to. Anyway, I get off that box.
John, before you start, I have a new taste in mind. I have cherry note.
Oh, all right.
I have a cherry note. So cherry can be in these kind of beers, kind of like a fruit kind of thing. but it's a cherry and it's a sweet cherry. It's not, maraschino cherry. It's more of trying to think what a sweet cherry would be. Maraschino is too sweet. It's less than that, but it's like a very nice cherry you would have, a fresh cherry. And that's what's coming up right now on mine.
Interesting. I wonder if it's black cherry, like a black cherry is actually sweet, but it's more robust at the same time. Maybe and you've got it out there, so I'm wondering if maybe it's like a black cherry.
It's black cherry, but it's funny now, as these beers warm, sometimes you get surprising things that when they're cold, it covers it. It gets,
yes.
A lot of times people will do stouts and they'll do it for a long time. And by the time it gets warmer, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's different. Different things come out.
Whiskey the same
Absolutely.
way. People that cool their whiskey or use ice cubes in whiskey, they get a different flavor profile than people who drink their whiskey just no water, no nothing. Just
right. And I'm no whiskey expert like the Whiskey Scout over there, but what I like to do now, and I know Ron Ontario doesn't really do this. He drinks his neat. He does not do the ice cube thing, but I like to drink my neat, and then I'll take a single ice cube and I'll put it in there and let it open up a little bit. And you do get a lot of different flavors from the water. I mean, I don't know exactly what the chemical reaction is, but you get a lot of different flavors when you add an ice cube. Or if you just take a water dropper and put a couple of drops of water, that has the same effect. It just doesn't chill it like with the ice cube. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The palate perceives things differently at different temperatures. When you add water to a good whiskey, you open up the different flavors, you pick up on different notes. Same thing with the stout, as Michael mentioned. That's why I like to start out with my beers cold, whatever the style. It doesn't matter. But especially my porters and my stouts, the heavier beers. I want to start out with them not necessarily ice cold, but chilled. And then as I'm drinking them, particularly the higher alcohol beers, you're sipping on them. You're not chugging them. They're high alcohol beers. You're sipping on them throughout the course of half an hour to an hour, depending on how fast you drink a beer. But either way, you're going to get warming as the beer is sitting in your glass, as you're swirling it around. You continue to drink it. So the beer will develop and it will change, especially with world-class stuff like this. Like we've got guys that as the beer warms, there's different flavors that are going to emerge. The flavors are going to develop. It's going to change, whether in a good way or a bad way. But typically with beers like this, it's going to be a good thing because you're going to pick up on more of the flavor from the beer. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling. Maybe it's the 17.2%. I don't know, but I think you get what I'm saying.
I do the same thing.
You pick it up when I'm putting down, right?
I do the same thing. We had breakfast for dinner tonight, pancakes and bacon. And I still got some of the saltiness of the bacon lingering on my lips. Combined with this, it's a dream. It really is good. But I don't get a salty content with this, just what's left over lingering on my lips. But yeah, the mouthfeel is excellent on this beer. The drinkability of it is just outstanding. I mean, there's just a little bitterness. It doesn't get real heavy with the bitterness like some Imperial Stouts do. It's still there, but it's just not overwhelming. Everything works in unison with this. It's a very good beer. I really, this is one of a kind.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely unique. It's very good. Obviously, The alcohol is masked exceptionally well. I really haven't described it too much, but what I will say, and this is something you mentioned before, Robert, in a beer, maybe on Stout Sunday, but you talk about certain beers. So you have your bourbon, your barrel aged beers. A lot of times with barrel aged beers, I get a berry note, and it's hard to really pin it down. But I do get a berry note. And you made a really good reference, or I like the way that you described it when you were reviewing whatever it was that you were. I can't remember, which I apologize. But you said it's kind of like a berry compote. Mm-hmm. You said and a berry compote is blackberry, raspberry, and blueberry. Yep. And it's kind of like a mix. When you mix those flavors together, I call it a mixed berry note, which is, like when you drink mixed berry flavored drinks, that's what you get. A combination of all of those those 3 berries. I get that with this. I get that berry compote thing, which I get with a lot of bourbon barrel aged beers, stouts. I mean, that's bourbon barrel aged stouts. This one is not bourbon barrel aged. It is 17.2%. There's a lot going on in this beer, but I get that with this, even though it's not barrel aged. And to me, that's an indication of quality. This beer was well put together. You're getting bourbon barrel aged type notes on a beer that's not actually bourbon barrel aged. To me, that means that goes up at the top of my book as far as quality. And the fact that the 17.2% alcohol, as we mentioned before, is masked exceptionally well. It does not taste like an alcoholic. It tastes like a dessert drink. And maybe as we drink alcohol, we don't notice it, as if a 5-year-old child was to drink it, they would be like, oh, there's something wrong with this. But as an adult, as somebody who's had a lot of alcoholic beverages over the years, had many, many beers, I am not picking up the alcohol in this. And at 17.2%, that is incredible. And I think Michael, his 14%, and most of the Evil Twin beers that I've had, I've noticed the same thing. They're not really boozy for the alcohol content that you're getting. So I think that's really impressive.
Yes.
Now, the Even More Jesus is a little bit more on the boozy side of these type beers, but it still is not boozy like it should be, 12%.
For considering the ABV, exactly.
But this one, I didn't think it was very boozy at all. I mean, it's there, but the alcohol's there, but it's really very, just like this. It's like you said, it's very well masked.
Right.
The berry compote thing comes from my grandmother. She used to do that, and she would combine it in a saucepan. And I don't know how. She was a great cook. I don't know how she made it, but she would make all that, and she would add some sugar and a few other things to it. And she would slowly bring it to a simmer in a pan. And when she got done and all the flavors were done, she'd chill it in an icebox. And then after dessert, she'd buy them little cakes like strawberry shortcakes. And then she'd pour it on top of the strawberry shortcakes for us, and then add a big dollop of whipped cream. And that's that compote I'm talking about. That's what I know as a compote. So
that sounds exceptional.
My grandmother could cook. I mean, that woman, she's the best cook I've ever met. No. And I mean, I can cook, and I've learned a little few. I remember things that she's taught I watched her do. She didn't really teach me. I just watched her do, but I never really. I was gone fishing. I stuck around long enough to see a few things, and I'm gone. I got other priorities in my life, and I wish now that I had paid a lot more attention. I really
right. Do. We always do, yeah. It's all, yeah. We always, everybody. It's like my grandmother, my grandfather, when they passed. It's like, man, I wish I had hung around more and like gotten to learn more about their lives and different things. And it's like that with everybody. It's always, you're looking back in retrospect. It's like, man, I missed out on some good little nuggets.
My grandmother would make 2 apple pies at Christmas and Thanksgiving. One for me, because I was her birthday present in 1966.
You got your own pie.
I shared her birthday. We were born on the same day. So she would make 2 apple pies, one for me and one for the rest of the family. And then I would run off and hide. And over the next day and a half, I would eat an apple pie. Great. And you wonder why I'm such a big boy. I didn't get this way till after I got married, a couple of 4 or 5 years. I started putting on weight then. So
yeah,
kind of just slow down when kids come along. But anyway, enough about that. Let's talk more about the beer. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. So, Vanessa Kitty is in the chat. Cheers to you, Vanessa. Thanks for stopping by. Ronald Sutton says best cherry is your first one. Okay. And Ronnie says he's tried to find it. He lives in Florida. He's looked for it. He can't find it. I don't think Florida has the – I think they're similar to Alabama and Georgia. I don't think you can get beer that high alcohol, Ronnie, which sucks. But unfortunately, I don't think you can buy beer that strong in the state of Florida, in which I told him, yeah, that's too bad. So, Mike, have any of us given ratings yet? I'm sorry. I'm a little thrown off by this beer. Have we given ratings yet? Michael, have you given a rating?
Not, but I've written mine down.
Okay, why don't you, tell us any more flavors developing and what your final rating is on that beer.
Okay, I'm finding as it's getting warmer, beside the cherry, which was a very nice extra taste, that it's very intense in that the flavor layering is holding together very well. So it's the combination of the chocolate and the coffee now and the cherry holding together. It's just they've done an amazing job on it.
I cannot, you know what? I'm definitely going to have to pick up a 4-pack when I go to Atlanta, my next trip to Atlanta.
I'm giving it.
I know I can get it at the food. I can't think of the name. Total Wine and More. I can buy it at Total Wine and More.
I'm giving it a 98. And the only reason I'm not giving it a 99 is I have to, like we talk about striving for that little extra thing. I don't give 99s even. I do, but this is on the edge. World class stuff.
Absolutely. That sounds incredible. I'm definitely going to have to try to find that. All right. So, wow. Awesome stuff from Evil Twin. Robert, you want to go ahead and I remember what your rating was on Stout Sunday, but hey.
It ain't changing. It's still a 99.
It's still a 99. Okay.
Yeah, it ain't going nowhere.
So
very happy.
One thing I'll say is I love the mixed berry thing that I'm getting with it. It's got that bourbon type barrel aged quality without being bourbon barrel aged. The 17.2%, like I've already mentioned, is masked exceptionally well. It's scary. It really is scary. I have yet to be disappointed from an Evil Twin beer. And Robert did send me this beer. He sent me 2 of them. That has no effect on my rating. I mean, I'm going to rate a beer as I see it, as I think. If it's a crappy beer, it's a crappy beer. I don't care who's sending it to me. So whatever. But this one is a 99 out of 100. I agree with Robert. I did the solo review. I gave it a 99. My rating is staying the same as well. It's got bourbon barrel qualities. It's got roast. It's got chocolate. It's got caramel. It's got silky smooth. It's silky smooth all the way through. It's a delight to drink. The pizza thing, it's bready. I'll give it that. It's bready. You can even say doughy because it's a thick, heavy stout. But I don't really get the pizza things. Me, that's more of a gimmick, but it doesn't matter. It's a world-class beer. I love it. Thank you so much, Robert the Whiskey Scout, for sending it to me. I couldn't be happier with it. And, of course, my rating as well is a 99 out of 100. It's world-class. There's just no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It is that good. And anybody that lives in an area where you can get this type of beer, where you can find the Evil Twin big ass money stout, I implore you, buy it, try it. If you like darker beers like this, if you like full-bodied flavor, you like complexity, you like uniqueness, you're going to love this beer. I mean, you're just going to love it. And that's going to be my final comment. We'll go back to the live chat here. Let's see. We had one new comment. It was Ronald Sutton. He says, what do you say? I captured the Phoenix. All right. There you go, Ryan. But let's see. I don't know. We will go back to Michael. Actually, this is what we're going to do. And see, this is what happens when you drink a 17.2% beer. You can't keep your stuff together. Okay, so we're going to go back to Michael. We were talking about this a little bit off air, but there's some developments in the Evil Twin family, and I'm going to let you talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so Evil Twin is now moving to Ridgewood, Queens, which is about 15 miles from me, maybe less, maybe 12. And I sent the article to you, John. It's on Facebook. You can look at it when you get a chance.
I have not looked at it yet, but I will.
Take a look at it. And Jeppy, who is the founder of Evil Twin, the Evil Twin, has had a bar in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, where I've never been, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. And he's lived in Brooklyn for a long time. I met him once in my neighborhood at a beer place, which is no longer here. Now it's in Times Square, in Grand Central Station, and in the Oculus, which is where the World Trade Center used to be. And so they have two places. I think it's called Beer Table. Anyway, I met him when it was here. He was here for an event once, and I met him. But anyway, so now they're coming into New York with their own place to brew the beer, which I'm sure is going to be interesting because now they'll still be imported. You know, Evil Twin will be now still under 12%, but they don't have to go to a different brewery and have it sent, you know, from either Two Roads or Westbrook, and they'll be doing it on their own, which will be terrific. Plus, I'm sure they'll have an operation where you can go to the brewery. There'll be a tap room. I think it'll be a blast. So, you know, it'll be
that's pretty cool news. And myself, and I know you, and I'm assuming Robert, as much as highly as he rated that Big Ass Money Stout. I mean, we're fans of Evil Twin, so to me, it's very exciting to see this happening. I think that's going to go a long way in the next couple of years. I mean, of course, they're expanding, but I think they're going to have better means to distribute some of their beers, to put out better stuff, and just keep pumping out the awesomeness. Evil Twin, I'll say this about Evil Twin. Evil Twin is one of the few breweries that I've had a lot of beer from, and I cannot honestly think of a beer that I was like, you know what, I could take it or leave it. Everything from them has been 90 plus. I mean, in the A range up to world class.
So the only John, I have to say, the only thing that I've had any objections to at all when I've done my individual beer tasting, some of their IPAs, they make something called the Simcoe Slacker, which is a single hop thing. That did not go over well.
Yeah.
But when you're doing single hop beers, if you don't like Simcoe hops, it doesn't matter.
You're not going to like it. Yeah.
Nobody's going to like it. So my whole
it's a one-trick pony. You should do your research on Simcoe hops before you buy it. And if you know you're not really big into that, then you're not going to like the beer because that's the flavor that you're going to get.
Right. They can't make a single hop beer good if you don't like Simcoe hops. So
exactly. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing with my only gripe with Evil Twin is I bought a 4-pack of an Imperial IPA. It was every day, once a day, drink yourself an IPA. And I did not post a review for it on my channel because for whatever reason, this actually has a date. You know, it was 5/23/18. Okay, that's a little old, but it's this type of beer. You don't have to worry about that. The IPA 4-pack that I bought had no date on it, nothing, and it was old. So I didn't really care for it. I could tell it was stale. It was old. The hops had faded, but it was brewed with lactose vanilla. So it still had a creamy mouthfeel, and the vanilla kind of made it. I mean, it was like a sweet dessert beer, but it was obviously intended as an IPA, and the hops had completely faded.
Yeah.
So my only complaint with Evil Twin is that on some of their beers, for whatever reason, they don't put date codes or dates.
But it seems like
stuff when you don't
get the dates. They have this weird stuff like batch number. Now, how do we know what batches are?
Well, we don't.
Batch number, and how do you know where that comes from?
Yeah, exactly. With this one though, the IPA one that I had nothing on it. It was like it was almost like it just fell through the cracks. Like because I've had a lot of Evil Twin beers, they usually always have something. Whether it be the bottled on or the canned on date or a lot code or something that you can at least look up if you want to. But the IPA that I had recently had nothing on it.
This one has nothing on it, but in a stout, it almost doesn't matter.
In a stout, though, you're okay. But that beer could be 2 years old. If that was an IPA, you would be drinking it and you'd probably be not very happy with it because
I'm with you.
So that's my only complaint with Evil Twin, and I don't really know why the inconsistency is there because they're brewing standards and you would think everything would be pretty consistent. I know that they're expanding; they have different breweries and all, this, that, and the other. Their distribution is through 12%, but it's the same beer. I mean, it's the same company, so they should be more consistent with that. That's my only complaint. But they make world class beer. Turtle Man is tuning in late. He says, "Cheers, Johnny. Cheers to you, Turtle Man. Thanks for stopping by." I'm feeling pretty good drinking this 17.2% big ass money stout. I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this up. I gave mine a 99. Robert a 99 with his as well, and Michael gave his a 98. So 98 and 99 for the Evil Twin beers. It's exciting that they keep expanding and they're growing. If you can't find Evil Twin in your area now, hopefully you will be able to soon, especially here in the U.S. I know they originated. You got Denmark, but here in the U.S., Evil Twin is very big, and they keep expanding. A lot of people can get their beers. I couldn't be happier with their stuff. We did the IPA thing on my channel not too long ago. You had one. I actually had a 17 or 18%er that I got when I visited Jay in New Orleans, and we did that. That was good. So anyway, I digress. Everything that I've had from Evil Twin has been at least good. They keep coming up with new original stuff.
Evil Twin I had that I didn't like was that old fashioned lemonade IPA. And the flavors did not work together. They just it was too disjointed. Too many things happening. The bitterness and the sweet and sour were just, it didn't work. I didn't care for it. So, but I mean, that's just one. All their stouts, I agree with you guys. I don't think they make a bad stout.
They brew a lot of different beers too. If you go on their site and look, they brew 50 different
hundreds.
I say I count.
It's insane. It's insane.
And that's it. So they brew a lot of stuff. But the other side is they should get the date right, because that's an important thing.
They should. And I'm hoping that some of the stuff that I got, the IPA stuff that I've got that didn't have the date, I'm hoping that's just because it was old. The new stuff is going to have that on it. I'm confident that they're going to do that. And Evil Twin, if you're listening, which I doubt it, but if you are, make sure you're putting the dates on there, because that's really important with this type of beer. It's a premium product. It's not cheap for these beers. I mean, let's be honest. And you're paying a premium price point for a great quality beer. So the least they can do is put a decipherable code or date on it, so you know how fresh the beer is.
Tomorrow,
and that's all I'm going to say. This one, go ahead, Michael.
Tomorrow is the first Thursday of the month, so it's my regular get-together with all my people. So nice. That's always good, because I try to get all the different styles in, and I will make sure you guys see the results. I'll put them up once I do my final things. We vote on it in numbers, and again, it's all very how people feel. But in a bigger group, that's a very positive thing, that no one person can destroy what, let's say there are 10 people voting on a beer. It's usually fairly close that people either like or dislike the beer. Very subjective, but at least in a bigger group, you can't get one person. Like if you do with two people, one likes it and one hates it, the average sometimes isn't fair to the beer. But again, how do you know which person is fair and which person isn't? And that's,
right
side.
Right. And I like how you've done with your stuff. If you have, let's just go 10. Let's say you have 10 people in the group. Everybody gives it between a 7 and a 9, and then you have one person that rates it a 4 or a 3. You discard. I mean, that's like
if it's more than 2% off the main grouping, I just disregard it. And sometimes, and I've had people who've been insulted, and I said, no, you shouldn't be insulted. I'm just trying to control the average. I'm trying to say, if 9 people think it's a 7 and you think it's a 4, your 4 can't count, because that's being unfair to the beer.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what, again, sometimes I don't even tell them. I just do the scoring and I just knock it out. And, in the
right.
That applies same to an overly high score as well.
It works both ways. You have one person. I had one person who brought the beer, and she said she gave it a 9. and the averages were like not that far off, 7.5, 7.25, whatever. She said, it was my beer. Now, again, that's great, except you're supposed to rate it how you think it tastes, not that it's your beer. You didn't brew this.
She didn't brew it, right? Yeah.
Now, I accept it. If you brewed it, that 9 is cool because you did.
But
she just bought it. I didn't take it out because it still was within the 2, so it raised it. But if somebody was off 2 points the other way, I would discard it also, because you can't raise bad beers based on the fact that somebody brought it at a different place. It's not fair.
Yeah,
right. Absolutely. So let's see.
You can, John, if you want to just wrap it up, and we can,
I guess. Anybody got anything else to say? I will say this: we've got Nicola Zazoskli in the chat, and just kind of joking around. It says, "Can you please review Jarritos or Jarritos soda, however you say that? It is a Mexican soda. My friend gave me some. I don't know if you will, since it isn't alcoholic, but please do if you see it." I will tell you this, Nicola. I really like the Jarritos, however you say it, tamarind soda. It comes in the clear bottle, and it's brown. And the tamarind. I mean, who would have thought tamarind flavored soda would be good? But it's good. So yes, I might. You know what? Maybe I'll do a review for you if you're still watching. But that's one of my favorite sodas. I buy it all the time when I go to the little supermarket, like not Asian. I don't even know what you call them. Around here, we just call them ethnic markets.
Here we call them bodegas.
But yeah, you just go and you buy like you get all kinds of ethnic foods and stuff.
Right.
So.
And a lot
Mexican Coke is another big one.
Mexican and Spanish in
right.
Here. You go to Tiendas.
Yeah, the Doritos tamarind flavored soda is one of my favorite. I love that stuff. So Nicola, if you're still watching, I don't know if you are, but I will try to do a review of that for you because I really love it. I'd give it probably a 99 or 100, honestly, for a soda. It's one of the best sodas I've ever had.
I don't have a Stout for Sunday yet.
I may have one. I don't know. I might drink it before then, but I'll have.
I got one.
Only Wednesday, so I have time.
It's all exactly. We've got the rest. We got 4
We got
4
a
days.
hopping frog and 2 Yetis.
I'll get one by Sunday.
Well, I'm glad we drank the Evil Twin Stouts tonight. This is like a stout.
And mine was really good too. John, if you can get this in Atlanta,
I will definitely buy it next time I go to the Total Wine and More. I'll buy a 4-pack. I've never really been disappointed with Evil Twin, especially the stouts.
I'll look out for
class, all of them.
Right.
I'll look out if they got it in my area. Sometimes we don't get the selection.
You've got some Evil Twin. You've got some Evil Twin headed your way there, Robert.
Yeah.
The Decadent Delight, the Imperial Wedding Cake Stout, and I think one other one. I just sent it off today. I've been late. Well, not lazy, but I've been busy, and I didn't want to. I had to go to the UPS store and have it all. So anyway, you'll probably get it this week, but it might be early next week. I don't know. I didn't pay extra money to have it shipped faster.
No, that's fine.
So,
I don't care.
You'll get it one way or another.
Yeah, I get here.
I sent you some cool some local Georgia stuff. The Fluffier Otter, which is a peanut butter vanilla marshmallow stout.
And I'm looking forward to that.
I sent you the 2 Evil Twins.
I discussed this one before, John, because you had the other one. This was the one. Remember? This is
I had.
This is the.
Yeah, I did not have that one, but yeah,
I have the collaboration between Evil.
That's the Westbrook, which is out of South Carolina. Yeah,
I think I've seen that.
There's also one out of Connecticut, the same thing, which was just done by Evil Twin of this.
I believe I've seen that one.
This is ale with coffee, cinnamon, almonds, cocoa nibs, vanilla, and habanero peppers.
Because I remember biscotti being on one I seen.
This is the cake break, but they have a straight biscotti too.
Oh, well, maybe it was a
Right.
straight, but I have to look again. But I remember a biscotti being on one thinking, that's a strange thing.
Again, this is a bomber, so this was much more expensive. It seems like
Right.
to get to the bomber level, they charge more. I don't know why, but they charge more. But it's 22 ounces, so you get more too. But these are 16
Right.
ounces, so it's still only 6 ounces less, and they seem to be priced better.
Yep.
Right. Absolutely. So,
Look forward to Stout Sunday.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Thank you so much, Robert, for sending me the beer,
I
obviously,
enjoyed it.
and
Thanks, John.
and for joining tonight. I mean, tonight was very special for me. I'm glad you got to join. I love the beer. It's a world-class beer. Michael's beer is awesome as well. I'm glad we got to do this because you were experiencing some technical or some power out. I didn't know if you were going to be able to do this, so I'm glad that it worked out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I always enjoy hanging out with you guys. We've been on, let's see, 50 minutes. We'll go ahead and wrap it up.
It's been fun.
Absolutely. It's been fun. I'm going to enjoy drinking the rest of this. We've got some world-class beers here, guys. Everybody out there in YouTube land, if you're still watching this and you haven't already come to the conclusion that you should buy Evil Twin beers, buy Evil Twin beers. They're really, really good, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed in them. So that'll do it for this Evil Twin examination. We've featuring the Big Ass Money Stout and Don't You Know Stout from Michael Kormaroff. Both excellent beers.
Everybody.
Check them out. And hope everybody has a great rest of the week and weekend. Looking forward to Stout Sunday, like we said earlier. So cheers to Michael and Robert. Thanks again for joining me, and we'll end it there. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. And until next time, everybody, cheers.
Cheers.